Alright. I just woke up not too long ago and something popped into my head that I thought was worthy of discussion. God damn knows. I grew up in, or I should say, I did most of my growing up in a small town called Wildomar, California. If you don't know where Wildomar, California is, you can look on a map, or this might help. Do you know where Lake Elsinore, California is? Okay, Wildomar is just south of Lake Elsinore. You don't know where Lake Elsinore is? Okay. Lake Elsinore is approximately 30 miles south by way of Interstate 15, about 30 miles south of Corona, California. You don't know where Corona, California is, do you? Okay. Corona, California is about 40 miles east of Los Angeles, California. You don't know where Los Angeles, California is? Do you even know where California is? Okay, never mind. I guess you could say I grew up in between, somewhere in between, near the center point between Los Angeles and San Diego, California. Does that help? Anyway, it was Lake Elsinore was basically your quiet little resort town because of the lake, evidently, and eventually it sprouted and more people actually started to move there. And anyway, enough about that. I did most of my growing up on a 2.5 acre parcel of land that was basically right off the old Highway 71, which is now known as Interstate 15. Yes, I did live out there before it was called the Interstate 15. I lived out there, like I said, we moved out there back in mid-1974. So how old was I? I was 8 years old at the time. I want to tell you another thing that my foster mother did to me. She worked me to death every day. I was forced to do a lot of heavy labor, planting trees, picking up rocks, digging the holes for the fence posts that we had to put all around of our property. To give you an example of how many trees that I planted in my young childhood, I would have to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 trees. Eucalyptus trees, fruit trees, big Douglas fir trees, junipers, yuccas, pepper trees. I must have planted at least 20 different species of tree. I also did most of the gardening, planting of rose bushes and other things in the flower bed that went around our house. We lived in a double-wide mobile home that had a back porch, that had a expanded room, which we called the back porch. And I basically took care of everything. I planted all the trees. I dug all the ditches for the drip systems that we had, and some of the other auxiliary water lines that we had. We had ducks, chickens, and geese. I took care of all them. You know, I cleaned all the fucking bird shit out of there, and I'm the one who did all the weed pulling, the mowing. Let's put it to you this way. I did all the fucking grunt labor, starting at the ripe old age of 8 years old. I was a slave to my foster family. I would love anybody to debunk what I'm saying. Do your hacking job. Find out who I really am. Contact my foster sisters. You can find out who they are. You want their names? I'll give you their names. Christina Seeger, Dana Seeger, Kimberly Seeger, Deborah Glavin, who happens, I think, the last I remember, she lives in Houston, Texas now. I don't know where she lives. I don't know where any of them live anymore. Christina and Dana Seeger might still be living in the San Bernardino area. Bloomington, Colton, Highland, I don't know. I haven't spoken with them in years because their detriment was my detriment. I wasn't the only one who got screwed in this family. Dana Seeger, who was actually the natural daughter of the family, of the foster family, she was also abused. Christina, my other foster child, Kimberly Seeger, the other foster child who came to live with this family. They can all tell you exactly what I'm telling you now. Unless they've all managed to cover it all up with drugs and being a satisfied slave in this fucked up money system that we're forced to live under. I challenge anybody to debunk anything I'm saying. I challenge anybody to make a video and present all the information you possibly can that I'm lying my ass off. I was a fucking slave from the day from the age of fucking 8 years old. And I continued being a slave up until the day my beloved foster mother died and my foster father remarried. I continued doing, I kind of slacked off because I figured, hey, this this sick woman is now dead. Maybe I can get some relief now. Maybe my foster father will marry another woman who's not so bad. And she was Pat Seeger. Anybody want to know who I really am? My name is David Seeger. Look it up. David Seeger. S-E-E-G-E-R. Yeah, I was eventually adopted because, you know, what the hell is a little kid supposed to do when he's been fucking cast out onto the street? That woman, Carla Seeger, she had me wrapped around her fucking finger so damn tight, I couldn't fucking defend myself from anything. Not to mention my foster brother, Mark Seeger, who was also natural family. You want to talk about a monster? I can tell you shitloads of things that he did to me and to the other children that would make you puke. But I'm not going to do that. Not now. Anyway. So you can maybe get an idea why I have a aversion towards working, having a job. So basically, I thought that's the way the world was. I have to work, when I got into high school, I started making my plans to get the fuck out of Dodge, So, I took welding class and metal shop class when I was a freshman in high school. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the school. I enjoyed that part of going to school. All the other classes I had were like, what the fuck I need that for? I took, I graduated. I was a B plus average student. Anyway, so you can see how I was manipulated into being a slave at a very early age, and then I continued my slavery, my new induction into slavery when I was in high school, trying to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? I gotta get out on my own, right? So I went into the Navy, U.S. Navy. I couldn't handle it. I was only in for 13 months. I got out, and then I basically went into the slave market, being a welder, metal fabricator. I did a little bit of other odd jobs here and there, but, it's not the point. The point is, I've been a slave most of my life, and it took its toll on me physically. Even all the stuff that happened, all the hard labor that I did as a child had its detrimental effect on me.